Vietnam's central coastal region has suffered unprecedented flooding from prolonged downpours and successive typhoons since early October, resulting in more than 200 deaths recorded so far and displacing thousands of people. At least 5.5 million people in the region have been affected, including an estimated 1,343,162 women of reproductive age, with 92,075 of them are pregnant. Pregnancy and menstruation do not stop in emergencies, and as such, uninterrupted services for sexual and reproductive health must be provided to women and girls. And raise violence against women and girls increase in crisis, for which effective prevention and response must be immediately put in place. In this context, recently in Ha Noi, UNFPA in Vietnam handed over 5,704 dignity kits to Central Committee of Vietnam's Farmers Union for distribution to women at risk of gender-based violence in Vietnam's flood-affected 3 provinces, namely Ha Tinh, Quang, Binh, and Quang Nam provinces. This follows UNFPA's earlier handover of dignity kits to the Vietnam Farmers Union for COVID-19. Preserving dignity is essential to maintain self-esteem and confidence, which is important to cope with the stressful and potentially overwhelming humanitarian situations. A dignity kit comprises the basic items that women and girls need to protect themselves and maintain their basic hygiene, respect, and dignity in the face of a crisis. Greetings from Sharing Vietnam on VTC10 Network. In recent years, natural disasters has caused a great loss of life and property to the people, especially the people in the central region of Vietnam, and there is said to be the women need more protection than men in such emergency cases. So on today's program, we will be talking more about this issue, and the guest speaker in our program today is Ms Naomi Kitahara, UNFPA Representative to Vietnam. Thank you for joining our interview today. So in recent months, many natural disasters happened and hit especially the central region of Vietnam. So talking about the impact of the natural disasters on different groups of people, especially vulnerable people here in the central region of Vietnam, what would you say?
I can only comment on the vulnerabilities of women and girls, because when any disasters hit, people focus their attention on the need for food and shelter. But in fact, there are other areas that we should be paying attention to. And then those are the special needs of women and girls. Because in emergencies, pregnancy doesn't stop. Menstruation doesn't stop either. So if those special areas are neglected, then we will have bigger consequences. So it is essential that women continue to have services in sexual and reproductive health, and also in emergencies, the risks of gender-based violence and domestic violence increase. And then we need to pay attention to that, because in Vietnam already gender-based violence is hidden at home. And then when the emergencies hit, that risk increases. So it is important for us to provide support to women and girls so that their risks are reduced, even in emergencies like floods, which have hit the central part of the country.
When the natural disasters hit the central region of Vietnam, the people over there had a lot of things to worry about, especially about the food and the clothes to live day by day. So talking about the difficulties and also the impact that the natural disasters had on the vulnerable women, this problem is sometimes ignored. Do you think so?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it ignoring. I would rather think that it's, as you said, there are so many other things that to think about, and people may not have a space to pay attention to such special needs of women and girls, especially when it comes to gender-based violence. But it is important that the risks of gender-based violence do increase in emergencies, and that is true for COVID-19, that is true for floods and typhoons and then any other natural disasters. So as UNFPA UNFPA, we are raising that awareness, and then we are actually responding to such increased risks because already in Vietnam, 2 out of 3 women go through one or other forms of violence in their lifetime. And the risks increase in emergencies, which means many, many more women might be suffering from gender-based violence. So it is very crucial area that in order for us to provide support for.
According to a recent rapid assessment carried out last month, the health facilities were affected by the natural disasters. So could you please elaborate more about this quick assessment?
Yes, UNFPA led one of the 3 joint assessment missions in the central part of Vietnam. And there we have observed that the health system has been affected by floods. And that is not good because people, when they are sick or when they have any symptoms of sickness, they do not necessarily have immediate services from health centers. And that includes the sexual and reproductive health, maternal health and pregnancy cares, screening for pregnancy-related complications, family planning services. So all those needs to continue to be provided. So in assessment, we noted that, and that is the reason why now UNFPA is responding to that by providing mobile and outreach clinic services. So if women and girls, if they are not able to come to the clinics anymore, then we go to them. So mobile clinics will be going around to provide that services to women and girls in the central part of Vietnam.
According to the joint rapid assessment carried out last month, in which UNFPA experts play a lead role, in the most affected areas of central Vietnam, health facilities have been hit hard by floods and landslides, and routine public health programs such as antenatal, childbirth, and post-natal care and family planning services have been disrupted. Women and girls continue to be unable to access basic health care services, including sexual and reproductive health. The disaster has forced women and girls to displacement in evacuation centers without having the time to pack essential supplies. As a result, they are unable to manage their hygiene properly and lack access to basic needs such as sanitary pads, clothes, and underwear. In addition, access to water and places to wash and dry reusable pants and clothes or to dispose used materials is currently challenged.
Chúng tôi rất là vui và xúc động có Quỹ dân số Liên Hợp Quốc bên cạnh và đồng hành với các hoạt động của chính phủ và của Hội Nông dân Việt Nam cùng với nhân dân cả nước đã và đang hướng về đồng bào miền Trung ruột thịt để sớm khắc phục hậu quả do mưa to, gió lớn gây nên lũ lụt, sạt lở đất trong gần 2 tháng qua. Sự hỗ trợ của Quỹ dân số Liên Hợp Quốc trực tiếp cho chị em phụ nữ để mà phòng tránh bạo lực gia đình trong lúc khủng hoảng do thiên tai, nhất là lũ bão, sạt lở đất vừa rồi, là một cử chỉ rất cao đẹp, rất kịp thời và chắc chắn rất hiệu quả đối với chị em phụ nữ tại các tỉnh miền Trung.
Many poor and destitute women remain unemployed during and after floods. Women also suffer from domestic violence and are subjected to harassment when taking shelter at community centers. These particular vulnerabilities and problems interrupt women's mitigation efforts and adaptation capabilities in disaster risk reduction. Dignity kits are a signature product of UNFPA's comprehensive package of humanitarian assistance to safeguard sexual and reproductive health and rights of women and girls, mitigate the risk of gender-based violence, and respond and protect the dignity of women and girls adversely affected by a crisis. Those dignity kits here will be delivered to the vulnerable women in the central region of Vietnam. So in what ways do you think they will help and support the women over there?
So dignity kit is in an orange bucket. And it's orange because orange is the color defined at the international level to end violence against women. So it is in the orange bucket, and it's a bucket because bucket is something that women use at home. And so we wanted to have something reusable. And we could have easily put it in a box, but in the box we throw it away, and that is not environmentally friendly. So we made a conscious decision to put it in a bucket. Inside the bucket, we have 21 items, nothing luxurious. Those are only essential items. So sanitary pads for menstruation, soaps and toothpaste, toothbrush, some clothes, slippers, some just essential items for life, for women's life. So those are there. And then also inside, there are some communication materials. So how to cope with flood situation, how to cope with emergencies, and also information on gender-based violence. How can women deal with it? Where can women seek services from? And then with also hotline service phone numbers included so that the woman can make a phone call. Inside also there is a handwritten message by me. Now I had my Vietnamese friend who wrote it in Vietnamese, but the message in English was written by me. And then I signed on that message, handwritten message, to say that we are together with those women. They shouldn't feel alone. And the UNFPA is here to help them. So it's a message of solidarity, and then it's a message of sympathy. It's a message of support that we include. And then we want women and girls to stay strong, and then they are able to overcome those challenges. So Dignity Kit is for that, for women and girls to maintain their dignity, even in emergencies, and also to protect some hygiene and some level of health through Dignity Kits.
What is in your expectation for the cooperation with the Central Committee of Farmers Union of Vietnam when delivering those dignity kits to the vulnerable women in the central region of Vietnam?
Right. Farmers Union is already UNFPA's partner in our gender project. So we have underlying partnership agreement with them. And then in terms of the distribution of dignity kits, we had different options. But when we are looking at the nationwide network, and also looking at the fact that half of the farmers are women, and also Farmers Union's capabilities of handling dignity kits for distribution, then we made a conscious decision that we should partner with Farmers Union. We entrusted the task of distribution to the Farmers Union.
November is a very important month. It is about the gender equality, and November 25th is a very important day that marks the International Day to End Violence Against Women. So on this occasion, do you have any messages or advice you'd like to pass on to our TV viewers?
The first and foremost, it's no violence against women and girls. We must end, we must stop. And violence against women and girls is not acceptable. So that's the message that we want to send. Secondly, if anybody is suffering from violence, we would like them to speak up, and then not just suffering at home without speaking to anybody. Solutions are possible, and then the speaking up is one step forward to solve that. So I would like to really encourage any woman who might be going through violent relationships to try to seek out for services, to try to speak up, and then to try to discuss the matter with anybody who might be able to support them. We are supporting national hotline services. There are trained professionals 24/7, and then they are able to provide help and solutions to them. So please do speak up.
Once again, thank you for joining us and for your sharings today. And we hope that the dignity gains here will be delivered to the women in the central regions of Vietnam timely and help them overcome the difficulties, not just this time, but also in the future.
Thank you.
And that's all we have for this episode of Sharing Vietnam today. For comment and feedback, don't hesitate to write to us at sharingvietnam@netvietTV.net. Thank you for watching and goodbye for now.